The past weekend marked the 6 months since Hamas launched their October 7th attack on Israel. So can you lay out where exactly we are in terms of this war?
Yeah, we step back and look at the 30,000-foot view. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have dismantled a large percentage of Hamas's command and control in Gaza. Most of their battalions destroyed. There remain cells, obviously, throughout Gaza, both in the north, which we've seen pop up in central Gaza and in southern Gaza. But as a fighting force, as a military force, mostly dismantled, if not destroyed, severely degraded, certainly in northern Gaza, in central Gaza, and now in Khan Yunis, the second largest city of Gaza, which is in the south. Now, the IDF has withdrawn most of its ground forces following a 4-month battle in Khan Yunis, that second largest city there. That was formerly the home of Hamas's military leaders in Gaza, like Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed Deif, who we believe are hiding in the tunnel system between Khan Yunis and Rafah, the southernmost city. Rafah is that one city that still stands with total Hamas control. We believe the leaders underneath the city are still coordinating the war. Other cells they may be in touch with elsewhere in Gaza. 4 battalions of Hamas stand in Rafah itself. It's also the border with Egypt. And so we don't think about that border very often, though we should. People only talk about the Israeli border or the Mediterranean Sea. There is a southern border as well with Egypt, which is where we believe a lot of tunnels exist for smuggling of weapons, of people, of money, etc. And so we're now at a stage where obviously there is a focus on humanitarian efforts and stability in northern Gaza, ensuring that people are getting the food and the aid that we know has been surging into Gaza for weeks and months. Doing that in a way where Hamas cannot interfere with that aid distribution, that aid groups actually work with the IDF to get that done in a way that they haven't been willing to in the past. Also looking at what does an operation in Rafah look like. Obviously, Hamas does not fall in Gaza until Rafah is taken, until the tunnels, more importantly, under Rafah and between Rafah and Khan Yunis are dismantled and the leadership that is hiding down there are either captured or killed. We also have the hostages, right? At least 130 hostages still kept by Hamas. There are negotiations that have been going on for weeks, both in Doha, Qatar, and now in Cairo, Egypt, to try to get the hostages out. And what we see is Hamas now saying, we don't think we have enough living hostages to make a deal that the Israelis would find worthwhile. A very tragic statement, horrific statement to make, that they don't have 40 civilian hostages left to trade who are still alive. There's obviously a lot of soldiers as well who were captured on October 7th that they're not counting in that. They're not providing estimates on. We don't know if this is true or not, by the way. It could be psychological warfare by Hamas. But of course, the optics, not great for Israel today, I would say. Definitely looks like the United States bringing the hammer down, threatening to cut off U.S. military assistance to Israel unless Israel starts playing by the Pentagon and the White House's view of the world, which is to go slower, not go into Rafah, wrap up military operations, potentially leaving Hamas intact in Gaza and not getting all the hostages back. So Israel has a real dilemma in front of it in Gaza itself. What will come next? Will there be a Rafah operation? What does that look like? Will they seal the border with Egypt as far as tunnels and smuggling go? Will they be able to stabilize northern Gaza and prove a concept of how to get aid not going through Hamas into people's hands, so that you can not just talking about the war and how the war wraps up with some sort of victory for Israel and defeat for Hamas, but what comes after that war in a non-Hamas governance where the people of Gaza take responsibility for themselves in a way that will not create a new platform for terror in the future.